the RET investment mechanism shortly. So for this topic, actually, this one is a topic that actually normally when I share with my friends about MCM, or this one is a point that actually to show the unique of MCM. So MCM really designed the mechanism in such a way that, or to make the investment project legal, or and then to the benefit of our RE and also to the benefit of our investor. Okay, for today, this topic also we are going to get our RM or a very experienced leader or to explain to us on this investment mechanism. So now I'm going to pass the time to our speaker of today's speaker, Mr. Suren. Suren, you are ready?
Yes, yes.
Yes, okay.
Okay, Afang, you can see my slide, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Afang, for giving an introduction. And as you explained just now, right, it's also a very good and important knowledge for us to share to our friends, especially when first time meeting, and also when they ask questions to us, we should actually have this kind of knowledge. It's kind of like very important knowledge for us to, explain to them when times needed. Okay, so today, when we talk about investment mechanism, it's actually a very broad. All right, there's so many factors, things that we can talk when we talk about investment mechanism. But today, right, I'm going to touch only on the private investment. All right, so we'll go a little bit narrow a little bit. We don't want to go into property and everything, so we actually focus on the private investment today. Right, I really hope what we are sharing today will benefit you. And for those people who see me, it look like Suren, but it's not Suren. It's actually because of my hairstyle now changed already. Due to MCO, right? Now our hairstyle also have to change, become too long. All the barring or slip already. So I hope you guys are learn from me today. And let's go on the presentation. Okay, so today why the investment mechanism is very, very important. Okay, before I go on, this content of this presentation can be a little bit detailed, right? And can be a little bit heavy. So I hope you guys are really giving your full attention and also try to learn as much as possible and also take notes if you can. Right, so the first slide we are talking about why investment mechanism is very important. So these are the factors that we're actually looking at when we are investing. When we're structuring the mechanism. So the first thing is legality. All right, in any investment, this is one of the most important things. It have to be legal. Okay, we don't want to come, in any issues in future. So we have to make sure it's legal and secure. Okay, the second one, secure, is also very important to protect our interests. All right, when we invest into anything, we have to make sure we are protected, and even the issuer, even the company, when they want to raise fund, they want to make sure they are protected as well. They don't want to be over here on the investor side. And cost effective. Okay, which mechanism they are choosing is also very important, because some of the investment structures in the market, they are actually very expensive. When the cost of mechanism is expensive, that will make the ROI lesser. All right, and then what if? Okay, what if means, right? If let's say, okay, when we invest in a company or in an issuer, right? If let's say today they talk about this company A doing A business, and then tomorrow they're going to they open another company. They already raised the fund from company A, and then tomorrow they open another company to compete with the other company, with the earlier company that they opened. Do you guys see the problem or not? Okay, so there might be non-competition, and some of the investors also, because this is not only from the issuer side. Let's say they never open another company. How about those investors? Some of the investors, they go and invest in a company just to have a lot of access from the company so that they can actually copy the business. You become a small investor in the company, read all the content of this and also the strategy of the company, and then you go and open another similar business to compete with them. So these are the few what ifs that we need to be can be spelled in the mechanism, which is also very important to make sure all is protected, and then the return is the best return. Okay, and then the time. Okay, so some of the time, some companies, when they want to raise fund also, they need to make sure the process is fast enough. Okay, if let's say you want to go public listing, I heard it will take like 6 months or even longer, right, for you to actually to list in the public market. And If let's say we want to go into ECF, it can be up to 3 months to 5 months. And sometimes you want to use company structure, it could be faster. So the time factor also can be solved. And then when you talk about complication, okay, some of the structures, okay, when you look at mechanism, some of the mechanisms are regulated mechanism and already have the guidelines. So when they have all these guidelines, right, so the complication will be a lot lesser. And also dispute. So dispute has something to do with the what if just now. So we want to make sure everybody is actually protected. And tax savvy. Okay, this is another factor. We cannot talk so much today. Okay, tax savvy. I want to make sure the structure is really protecting and also give the highest return, the best return. Even we can save on tax and everything. Okay, and then the liquidity. If let's say we use a certain structure, there is actually you can actually, how to say, we can easily transfer the shares and whatnot. If let's say you invest as an individual and also invest as a company, there is a difference into it. When we use as a company structure, we can actually we can manage the company only. We don't have to change the entity that actually investing into the issuer. I hope you understand. It's a little bit complicated stuff, but then it's actually really can help the liquidity when we come to the right mechanism. Okay, and then the control. Okay, for example, if let's say we want to invest in a company and we just want to contribute a small amount on this company, and then we want to invest as an individual, usually we cannot get that enough access in this company, or maybe if you want to do due diligence, we also cannot get the enough access for us to go and do the due diligence. But when we go as a group, we have the substantial amount of shares in the company, we can easily do due diligence, and we also can access a lot of information. They also will be open to us to give us all the information, and also the control. If anything happens, then it's easy for us to work as a group. Okay, and then the peace of mind. For example, in this scenario in MCM, right? MCM actually, we really have to thank MCM. Actually, without us knowing, we just put in our money and we're doing our stuff, right? But MCM actually doing a lot of work actually to make sure everything is done properly. All right. So for investors, actually, it's a peace of mind as well. And then the best ROI. Okay, the best ROI. What I mean by the best ROI is also is just as I explained just now, the cost effective, right? And you do the best structure, we actually can save on the expenses, right? When we do the right mechanism. And then the bridge, also we're talking about all this complication. And the last one, which is the funding channel. Okay, and I believe our investors also, right? Sometimes they have these questions. Why do we have to put in our money into this lawyer account? Why we are not giving money direct to the company? All right, and why are we putting the money into sometimes like ECF, they have a stakeholder account. Why we are not directly investing in the company? So we want to make sure everything is done properly. All right, for example, funding channel. If let's say we want to raise 10 million, for example, we only have 1 million at the moment. We cannot go and ask them for the share and then we give him money a little bit by little bit. Okay, that is one factor. Another factor is we want to make sure all the process is done legally and we want to protect both party interests. All right. Hope you guys understand. I try my best to explain. Right. Okay. And usually in commonly used mechanism in MCM investment, right? So you guys can see there are koperasi. Okay. I believe from those days in Tanah Spa days, we have been using koperasi. And then we also seen recently we also use a lot of this limited liability partnership. We also can call this a company structure. And we have this ECF, the equity crowdfunding platform, and P2P, which is peer method, which is using the debt method. And we also can use trust as a vehicle to invest in companies, and also many other creative ways. Okay. And today I'm going to touch a few of the mechanisms that we always use, that we always encounter, so that we can actually understand better, right? So the first one we're going to touch here today is koperasi. Okay, so the koperasi that we always use is actually Koperasi Co Metro, right? And it's actually legally incorporated, okay, since 2013, and it's also audited by Suruhanjaya Koperasi Malaysia. This is also very, very important. It's actually regulated by the government body. All right, and another good thing is sometimes we also have investors, our Malay friend have these questions whether it's Sharia compliance or not, whether it's Sharia compliance or not. So sometimes they are a little bit reluctant to invest, put in their money as well, right? So because of this reason, and Koperasi, a good thing is they are actually Sharia compliance. Okay, and these are the few things, documents that you guys can see when you invest into any projects in Koperasi. So basically, this Koperasi, basically they have a few rights, which is very important. Koperasi as a general, actually, they can have a lot of purpose, but in today, as a Koperasi Kometro, basically they actually can take a deposit. It is also, you need a separate license. All right, so you can, this Koperasi Kometro, they can actually take the deposit or also borrow money from the members. All right, and also another part of it is some of the Koperasi also cannot, they are, sometimes they only do for charity purpose and whatnot. They cannot pay dividend also. But our Koperasi, basically, you guys can say they also can pay dividend to the members. And also, as I said just now, they are actually governed by the SKM, the Suruhanjaya Koperasi Malaysia. Suruhanjaya, this Koperasi, right, actually, they are a bit very strict when they come to regulation and everything. And another thing is, compared to a company structures, Koperasi structure is much more better and also more credible because they need to submit the audit form and auditing and everything too. And then to SKM, even when they want to do a new project or whatever, they need to go and ask for approval and everything, which is a quite strict procedure, but it's very legal, and you also have a proper guideline for them to do the structure for investment. So all the parties are protected, right? So that's about Koperasi. And then, okay, so that's the first one, the Koperasi. And then the second one, we look at this limited liability partnership. Okay, usually companies, there are a few types of company, right? Because you have Berhad, you got Berhad and everything. But why MCM usually use limited liability partnership, which is the LLP. Okay, so benefit of using the LLP. So you guys can see, the first one is basically we want to legally bind issuer and investor with a contract and term sheet. So we want to make sure, of course, this is the most main important thing, right? We want to legally bind them for whatever things needed, and then to protect both parties by spelling the what if. And then, yes, this is the uniqueness of this LLP. It's easier to manage. If let's say you're using a Sdn Bhd or a Bhd company, right? The regulation is much more strict. It's very difficult for the company to have a new shareholder or remove a shareholder. When using an LLP, we don't need the company secretary. All right, so it's very easy. And then there's another thing is also the limit of limited partners. Okay, for LLP, there is no limit at all. All right, so when you go to Sdn Bhd, they have a limit to how many shareholders maximum you guys can have. But for LLP, there is no limit. So we can actually, it's much more flexible for us to have a lot of investors into this mechanism. Okay, and then another thing is the lower cost in managing LLP, okay, will further increase the ROI. For example, if let's say you're using a company structure, the Sdn Bhd or the Berhad structure, right? So we have to do what you call that, we have the company secretary and we have auditing costs and a lot of things. But sometimes, right, the company will just, the purpose is only to hold shares only. But you still have to pay all these costs for you to maintain the company. And that will eat on the ROI. So in this situation, you don't have to worry because the LLP is the lowest cost, I would say, for the investment mechanism for in company structure. Okay, so just now we see the Koperasi, and then we also see the what do you call it, LLP, right? Limited liability partnership. And now we look at the third one. Okay, the most commonly used thing. And past few years, we also have a few projects that actually park under ECF, right? The equity crowdfunding platform. Okay. So you see, equity crowdfunding platform, they actually managed and also regulated under the Security Commission of Malaysia. Okay, so an equity crowdfunding platform ECF actually been introduced to our public is actually since February 2015. Okay, and peer-to-peer, if you guys can see, from May 2016. Okay, so basically in this structure, right, the SC basically they want to nurture and also facilitate market-based innovation in fintechs. And also, you see, if you guys can see, those days we want to invest into startup companies is very difficult. So the government actually thought about it and also want to give more flexibility for companies to raise funds to public, but they also have to put in some regulation, right? So that's why they have this regulation under the equity crowdfunding, and also they're using online. If you guys can see, eligible business and companies to access market-based financing to fund the project via electronic platform. platform, right? So they can do it in online. Okay, what they call this ECF, right? We normally got a few types of investors. ECF, when they do the regulation also, right? They also see the what they call that, the common people. Sometimes they are not really good in doing due diligence, and it's kind of like new to them. So they have certain type of regulation they actually put in. For example, if you guys can see, they split the investor type to three types. Basically, the retail investors, the angel investor, and also the sophisticated investor. Okay, so when you see a retail investor can only invest up to 5,000 ringgit per issuer or per company, up to 50,000 in 12 months. Why they want to do this? Okay, if you know the project is very good, you definitely can invest 50,000 in one company, right? Why they put this regulation? Why? Because they want to protect the public, because this is fairly new, and they want to make sure the public are not overgearing or taking too high risk on any of the company. So they based on your income, right? They put as retail investors. If let's say you are an angel investor, okay, you can invest up to 500,000 in 12-month period. And how to become the angel investor? Basically, you have to have asset of 3 million or annual income of 180,000, or husband and wife, you are 250,000. Why they put angel investor like this is because if you are a high income earner, or you could be a business person, you know how the business is, you know how the risk, how to run a business, what are the problems a common business will have, and you also have more surplus money to invest. So they actually separate this, and sophisticated investor, this is high net worth people lah. Okay, so basically they don't have any limit, they can invest in any amount. Okay, and they also registered, they also can be VC or PE. Okay, now let's look at why equity crowdfunding platform. Okay, so before this, when we want to invest in any companies, we have to wait for the company to go public listing. Am I right or not? So we wait for the company to go for ring the bell, then only we can start investing in the company, which is substantially big already. But actually, right, when you want to do a comparison, when a company wants to grow from 1 million to 2 million, it's 100%, right? When the company wants to grow from 1 million is 2 million, you can actually have 100% growth. But when the company is 1 billion, they want to grow to 2 billion, it's very difficult. Okay, so if you guys can imagine, some of the company, right, in the early stage, they can grow very fast, and there is a huge return for us to make, but it's higher risk in the earlier stage. All right, but here in this equity crowdfunding platform, they also do a, what they call that, regulation on how the due diligence is supposed to be done, have to make sure everything is legal, have to make sure the business are registered properly and everything. And then they bring the opportunity to us earlier, in an earlier stage. Okay, we can even invest in a startup company. Okay, usually we go for growth or expansion company lah. So we bring the opportunity to mass public, and we can even invest in the earlier and with lower risk and also higher reward. We also can enjoy. So today you guys can see some of the project also in ECF, our MCM project also we have parked there. You can see some of them can have a very good return as well. Okay, it's for you to explore. And as an investor, okay, what is the benefit in investing through the ECF platform? Okay, so the first one you guys can see, you can actually invest in a smaller fund and diversify more, especially for new people. If you guys are like MCM members, right, I know they are like you guys are also, you guys are actually pro already. You guys know which company can give higher return. You guys know how to do due diligence a little bit here and there. But actually ECF is actually a stepping stone for a person to become a wise investors. They can actually invest in 10 companies, just put 1,000 ringgit in 10 companies, just 10,000 ringgit. They can actually experience the whole process of investment. Okay, and normally we go in here for pitching, everything also sounds very good, but when as time goes, then we can see whether it grow faster or a little bit slow or whatever. Okay, and the second one is a good start for first-time investors in private investment. And the third one is experience in doing own due diligence with many types of issuer from different model and industry. All right, so when you want to invest in 10 companies, of course, you go and listen more on the pitching, and you also go and listen about how the business model works. And as time goes, you kind of like learn the lesson, or you learn the knowledge on how to choose which company is good and which company is not so good or whatsoever. All right, and the opportunity to start investing in a startup and enjoy greater potential, as I explained just now, and understand which type of investment structure and also give the highest yield. Even in the company also, yeah, some of the company willing to give higher return, some of the company not really giving higher return and whatnot. So you guys can understand by comparing as you see more and more companies. Okay, now let's look at MCM role. Okay, so normally, right, when you, as we know the mechanism already, right, so we can go outside and start investing in companies already. But why today, right, our investors still have to, work hand in hand with MCM? Why the investors still using, why the investors still want to work together with MCM? So basically, MCM also are playing a very, very important role in the whole process. Okay, so the first one you guys can see, MCM is also a project management and consultancy services to the business and partners. Okay, as a project management and consultancy services to the business and partners, one thing is we are not only giving you money, all right? So basically, we are also helping your company to grow. If you guys noticed recently, right, we also have some projects in, Money Compass. We also have some projects in for Gear Up. We try to, drive the sales of the company and everything. Why? Because we are not only want to give you money, we also want to grow the company together with you. We want to add value more than the money that we can give. Okay, and then the second one will be the CRM. So basically, MCM is also doing event management for the issuer, documentation, and also want to make sure the relationship between the investors and and the issuer is proper. All right, to assist our GIS members throughout the journey with principal and partners. All right, and also the update members on the documentation and changes of process. If let's say they need to change the document, they need to change the structure, or we need to have an update on the documents or whatsoever, MCM is doing all this facilitation job, and update members on the corporate exercise or business opportunities. Okay, so of course, when we have new projects in hand, we also will update our members. And if let's say the company A want to go listing, we have to go through this process where we need to convert to shares and stuff like that. MCM is also taking the lead to actually do all these things for our members. All right, and then the last one will be taking the lead on handling disputes and also protect GIC members. Okay, you guys have to really thank MCM, and I also really grateful for being with MCM because throughout my experience, I really know that MCM is about people before profit. Okay, this value, I really see what what we have been going through. I mean, my experience with MCM is I think almost 5 years already. Our CEO and our company also always think about this people before profit. So you guys can actually see they make sure the investors are protected and they make sure the investors are getting the best out of all the deals. Okay, and this is a little bit of our vision and also mission of MCM. Okay, our vision is basically your reliable global project management consultant, and our mission here. Okay, now everyone can invest globally. So you guys know, right? As from those days, I also don't never even think about investing globally. But after MCM, I got opportunity to invest globally, and actually as a PMC company, and then we bring in our investors. We want to have more like-minded investors who can understand us and also can work together with us. And then we go to the strategies. So basically, MCM, we have a few types of investment. Some of them are just cash flow. Some of them are purely capital growth, and or some of them are hybrid. Basically, have a cash flow and also the capital growth. Okay, so the value we always follow here is basically the trust and integrity. We work hand in hand. We trust each other. We work together. We try to give the best to each another. Okay, and you can see also down there, fail to plan is equal to plan to fail. All right, this is also very important. And okay, so some of the other mechanisms. Today I touched three things, right? So basically the ECF, the corporate, and also the LLP, right? And that is not all actually. Basically in the market, right, there are so many ways or mechanisms that are commonly used in the market. But today I just want to explain a little bit on how MCM use the mechanism to the benefit of the investors. So outside that, we can use Sundram Mahat, you can use Berhad, you also can use Trust, and there are some companies actually MSC status. They're also allowed to raise funds, and you also can actually work with a VC or PE, all right, a private equity company. Okay, just now I was explaining about the what they call it MCM role, right? So what is our role in this ecosystem? So, you know, it's an ecosystem where all of us, the members, we as a RE, the company, and also the issuers, right? Um, it's an ecosystem. We are all want to help each other so that we get the benefit all together. All right. So basically, as a RE, this is our role. All right. We also have a very important role, right? Without the REs, there's a lot of things can go higher. And with all our REs today, I think we also have a very committed RE with us. Okay, so basically these are a few roles that you guys can look at. So the first one will be to understand the mechanism and the details of the project. Okay, and almost all the project, right, the mechanism is a little bit different one. Okay, sometimes the documents are a little bit different, or sometimes what are the things spelled into the agreement and stuff are a little bit different. So it's our role, right? It's very important for us to actually to go in and also understand how the thing is structured and why is this, why is that. Okay, so we can actually go and read the term sheet ourselves, okay, or maybe we can read the agreement, whatever information available, and we can study about it. When we study, then we found out, okay, what is this, what is this? So and then we can go and ask and also understand better. Before our members ask us, we know the answer already. All right, not like when we go to we say, hey, we got this project and invest one, we just ask people and then you invest lah. Anything you ask our know. All right, so we have to really have our RE to actually come in and actually take this responsible, so we all can help each other. All right, and then the second one is also to learn the SOP of different mechanism. Okay, for example, ECF, they're using different structure. You have to involve a lot on the online stuff, and then for example, LLP, they also have to register a company and stuff like that. So there is a different SOP on the documents, on the EOI, GIS membership form, and everything. So we have to learn the SOP for each and every project, and then assist members in the event during the event, okay, the documentation process, and also update and follow up. Because always MCM, we are trying our best, to communicate directly to the members and update them. But we also need our REs actually to play the role to basically to make sure all the documentation are proper. Sometimes we need you to get them to sign and stuff. So we need you to actually help us. We help each other to make sure all the process are smooth. Okay, and also be a bridge in between MCM, issuer, platform, and members, so the process is smooth. So we need you to become the bridge. So basically, as a bridge, right? What I mean by bridge here, so basically, it's a connection. So when there is an update, some of the information or update that sometimes the investor, they don't really see the message, or they don't see that they need to sign something. They don't really see that they need to do some action. So as a member, as a RE, so we actually can help them to do so. Okay, so that the process is faster, because we are actually working as a group, right? So sometimes we need to communicate with 10 people or maybe 100 people at one time. We want to make sure we get the feedback and everything. So as a RE, we actually can come in and also help all of our members to make sure the process is smooth. All right. Okay, this part of the presentation just now was all about this, what do you call it, mechanism. Okay, and a lot of people also think if the mechanism is good, it's good enough already, everything is protected, everything is spelled in already, the secure already, all the return is already written and everything. But is that enough or not? Okay, you can ask yourself, is it enough or not? But actually, right, there's something actually more than that. Okay, basically, when it comes to investment, our own due diligence is still very, very important, right? Why I say own due diligence? Why I don't say due diligence? Okay, due diligence is general. How MCM, judge a company. I mean, we do our checking on the finance, on the background of the founder and everything. But why own due diligence is important? Because not every project is suitable for everyone. You should have your own due diligence. And we also can, as an RE, right, I think you guys also can start to do what are the criteria of the company that I want to invest. When you have an idea on how the thing works, you actually can make a better decision. And you also can advise our members and also try to tell them on what are the things that they need to take note before they invest in any company. So let's look at it. And own due diligence. Okay, so basically we want to know our risk tolerance. Okay, sometimes we heard some of our friends, they say any return less than 12%, I don't want to invest. So this person have a high risk tolerance or low risk tolerance. Okay, there is no right or wrong. Okay, but usually when they take more, they take high risk, there's no wrong actually. There are some people, they have put some amount of money just to take high risk investment, and they actually make a lot of money. You don't want to say that it's right or wrong. You want to see whether we are actually taking the risk and we understand the risk or not. This is also very important, the risk tolerance. And then the second thing is know your interest. For example, if you have experience working in an IT company, you have experience working in finance company, you have experience working in education industry. When you invest in the same industry, you kind of like have the idea how the thing works. Do you agree with me? I believe you guys also agree with me, right? So you guys will have this, the industry, whether the business, you have experience doing such business or not, the idea or the cost. Sometimes you can see some of the business also, they are doing a very good cost. For example, they are like money compass, they want to do financial literacy, which is a very noble cause. And for some companies, they want to do a biodegradable products, also for a good cause, and also the purpose, right? The third one is actually the financial goal. We should have our financial goal. We cannot finish our money gambling. We also cannot put all the money into saving account in the bank. So we want to have our financial goal. So to know that how much money I need and how much money should I invest to achieve this, and what kind of return is actually more suitable for me to achieve that goal. Okay, if you have the goal, it will be very good, and then you can actually, put in the projects to match your goal on it. Okay, and then you also can know your time. Okay, know your time is also very important. How long can you afford the money work for you? For example, if let's say you are below 35 years old, you don't have to worry about investing for 10 years. I mean, I don't ask you to invest in 10 years, but you don't have to worry so much in investing for 10 years. But if let's say you're 65 years old, 70 years old, 10 years is too much for us. Okay, so usually they ask for 1 year or 2 years maximum for them to do investment. So your time is also very important. You have to see how long. Another thing is how long can you afford for the money to work. Sometimes the money go and make the money and come back. It will take some time. So you have to be patient, so that the money that you use have to be surplus for us to make sure the money is working for us and come back and give the best return. And then to know our capacity. Okay, capacity we are talking about is how we can leverage on experts and learn from them. For example, the first day I come into MCM, I come and see one project, I want to invest, but rest assured, I see a few of my other members who are really expert in this industry, and they're also putting their money. So I can actually I bet on their what they call it, their expertise as well. I ask them, hey, you are in this industry, why do you think investing in this company is good? So we can leverage on other people. And that is a good thing about GIC community. When we have a big community, all of us are sharing our knowledge and also sharing our expertise when we are investing in any company. So we are in GIC community, basically, you also don't have to worry so much on your own personal capacity on doing due diligence. Of course, you need to do due diligence, learn as you go, but try your best to, learn as time goes. Okay, and this is a little bit of this due diligence that normally we will make. We will explain during our MCM presentation, right? So you guys, these are sample. For example, you guys can ask who is the person in the company, what is the background, do you have any experience building companies or not? This is, I got failed in any of the companies before or not? And who is the other people who are involved in this company, okay? And is there any institution invested in them before or not, or involved? And then what business model, are they sunrise or sunset industry? For example, like right now we have also so many things happening in the country, and there are some businesses still thriving very well. For example, our Jocom and our healthcare HCP and whatnot. So you guys can know whether the business is really can strive or not. Okay, and then you look at the risk reward. Okay, whether the risk you're taking is it pay well or not. Okay, and where is the business? When is the exit plan, and also how the capital is injected, whether they are using the money to pay off debt, they are using the money to pay salary, or they are really adding more resources for the company for them to grow. Okay, this can be a little bit deep, but you guys can learn as you go. So I think our REs, all of you guys who have experience in doing this after investing into many companies. Okay, before I end my presentation, okay, let me allow us to actually explain, to share to us our investment philosophy. Okay, sometimes, like especially right now, everybody are panicking, and sometimes they just don't want to invest at all. But actually, right, good time and bad time, people are still making money. Right? So what we supposed to do? Are we supposed to take the money and keep and don't do anything, or we should open our mind a little bit, or and we go and explore what are the opportunities are there in the market, and then we put it on the table, and then only we make a decision. Okay, and the last part you guys can see, you must have the gut. Okay, some of the successful investors sometimes they know it's something not so good and everything, but then they just have the feeling where this one will make it. They put in the money and then they make it. It's not gambling. We have done our due diligence, and then we just have to have the extra kick that actually to encourage you to put in the money for you to make the big bucks, right? And the second one, before you invest, make sure you do all the due diligence. Before invest, do all the due diligence, right? You do everything. You convince yourself, okay, I know this one will make it. I put the trust on myself. I put the trust on MCM and everything, and I put in the money. But after you invest, prepare to lose all, and don't blame anyone, including MCM, and also MCM's REs. Why? Because we are actually taking the risk to make big bucks. When we make big bucks, we don't give extra to MCM, right? You can give me a little bit. No, so you guys also don't have to blame anybody. But before you invest, you have to make sure you do all the due diligence. That is what we also say here. Make sure you do all the due diligence before you invest. And then the number third is don't be greedy. Some of the companies in the market, they are willing to give, promise you moon and sun, right? They tell you they can give you 50% per annum and everything, right? It looks very attractive. But okay, no matter how promising is the company or the person or the business proposal, so make sure you don't be greedy. Okay, you judge the risk and reward. Okay, see whether is it viable for the company to pay the current return or not. Okay, number 4 is about portfolio management. Okay, never put all your egg into one basket or the company or industry or country. All right, because as an invest portfolio management, as an individual also you have your own portfolio management. When we invest into one company only, you're putting everything and betting on one thing. If anything happens, you either make it big or you lose it. That is what we don't encourage people to do that because it's a very high risk when you do that. But when you diversify into a few category, for example, different industry, all right, for like right now, let's say you invest into HEB, Jocom, a few other companies that are performing well, you'll make a lot of money. But let's say, for example, outside you accidentally invest in the karaoke business, the businesses that invest in MCM will make that one lose a little bit, never mind. You get what I mean? So you have to invest into different category so that you have a better return overall. Okay, and number 5, investment without strategy is fail to plan is equal to plan to fail, right? So always plan it well, do it well, especially like right now, there are some good opportunities that no matter, despite the market is a bit soft and everything, but there are some good opportunity will come on, show the face a little bit. You must be able to grab it when it comes the face, right? So you have to be always ready to invest in those companies, all right? I think I a little bit exceeded my time for today, the time given for today, and I really hope you guys learned enough from my presentation today. And take this content and do more research about it, and then you guys can understand how things are done and which is the best for you, and also how to share this to your other members. Okay, I think I will end my presentation here. Thank you very much, and I will pass back to the moderator after.
Yeah, thank you, Surin. It's a very good sharing. Okay, so actually just now I mentioned about this topic, the investment mechanism, and also Surin, you just mentioned also about the diversification. So these are the two very important points for me. Every time when I share with my friends, these are the two things that I always emphasize: mechanism and also the diversification, because I find that this is something that is very unique to MCM, which we have many projects for our investor to invest. Because we always teach people about we don't put all eggs in one basket. It's every time we talk about this, but when you come to MCM, only one project, then it's something like conflict with our education. So it's a very good sharing from Surin. So just please give Surin a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you very
Just by
much.
click. All right. Okay. All right. Okay.